And we're live again. Let's get to it. Seems like just yesterday we were chatting and it was actually Tuesday. I like the thumbnail too. I think it's amazing. How's it going, Shane? Good to have you on board. And yeah, don't forget, most traders lose money. If you're unsure, you probably shouldn't be trading. Let me take the risk disclaimer out the way. Interestingly enough, today I'm actually going to go through the system a bit for those who don't know the system that well. The system, not the strategy, the system. And just put some lines on and show people the charts and let them know that we trade three ways and how we trade, just to get on with it. But we're going to go and have a look at the trades now, go and see how we're doing, go and see what's up, what's down. That's important. Let me get this picture of mine a little bit out of the way so that you guys can actually see the charts. Make myself much smaller so that I'm not in the way. There you go. That looks better. Now you guys can see the charts. Let's go and have a look at the charts. Yeah. CHF JPY, that's one of our trades. Look at that. It's in the red. Still got it though. Kind of went down rather nastily. Let me just make sure that it's it's not hitting a trailing stop or something. This trailing stop is a bit close now. And I actually don't want it to be that close. It's okay. It's going green now. It's starting to move up. Starting to move in our favor. It did go into this demand area, and that's sort of, I bought it when the green candle, it carried on going a bit further. That's what happens with trading. Sometimes they just keep on going, but looks like it wants to go up now, hopefully, and we'll see how she goes. But yeah, no, it hasn't worked out well yet, but it might still work out well. Brent crude oil, interestingly enough, fell all the way down yesterday. I just left it, and it seems to be finding its feet again. Brent crude oil, we're kind of still in a profit. Yeah, that's okay. It went into the red this morning, but it's back in the green again. So that's fine. Then I was looking at the Euro Great British Pound. The Euro Great British Pound, I'll draw some lines on here now for everyone shortly so that everyone can get an idea of how we trade and what it's all about. But for me, it looked like it's coming into the demand area and picking up some money and going up. But it's a little bit slow at the moment. It's a little bit red, so we haven't picked up the trade just yet. I want to see if it's going to do the long thing or the short thing, but I was calling it long because it looks like it's coming in to take some money and push on to the upside. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. It looks like a reasonably good trade. There is a support here, big support, and there's also a fine demand area. But I'll draw those lines in shortly, and then I'll show everybody, the best way of trading. And then we've got gold, which has also come to take this money here. Looks like it wants to go long again, so there might be a good trade coming for gold. What is that? 3338. Yeah. Sorry guys, I had to replace the monitor here. The other one kind of blew up, exploded, gone. Can you believe it? So I'll put something else in its place here now, because I've got to have at least 3 monitors on the go at any time. So yeah, that's and this one seems to be a little bit darker than the others. I've tried brightening it up, but yeah, okay, it's fine. It is quite big though. So yeah, that one, 3339. Gold, will it go up? There's a good chance it's going to fly up from here. It's in the right spot. It's taking some money there. The DAX, on the other hand, I thought might drop off and come into this demand area and take this money. And then there's the S&P 500, which knocked off that resistance and has dropped down a bit. And there's a gap that it's been filling here. See that? It's actually filling that gap, but it hasn't filled it yet. Either that or it's going to come down to these levels here, pick up some money down here. But it seems every time the S&P hits a resistance, it tends to knock back. So good chance that trend is going to keep on going on. Not to say that that's going to change anytime soon. And let's go and have a look at the news as well. Shall we go and see what's happening on the news? Go and check the news, guys. Let's go and see what's happening. Let me see if I can find the news, because it's always the long way around for me. But not to worry. Either way, we will That's the wrong one, isn't it? Get that one. Get in there. You got to get used to these little things and little quirks. There we go. The news today. Markets are tricky, Shane, at the moment. I'm not the only one calling it that the markets are a little bit tricky, because this guy on the left here, hopefully my photograph's not in the way, this guy on the left here has really caused a lot of havoc, let's be honest. I mean, whatever this guy says, and it's always the tariffs and the tariffs. And yeah, stocks are clinging to every tariff headline, reflecting just how gloomy sentiment has become on Wall Street. Now, I'm used to gloomy sentiment on Wall Street. I'm used to the markets going down and being in a bit of a bear market for a while. Or not really a bear market, but a correction, and everybody like being sort of nervous and upset and whatnot. But this guy is really messing things around, because one day it's up and the next day it's down. Now volatility is a needed thing in trading, but his kind of volatility is just a little bit difficult to read, because there's no pattern. One minute you think he's going to be negative, and the next minute he's positive, and it's just insane trying to read this guy. When he was previously elected in the previous term, it was actually quite easy. Everything just went long. But this time, it really is difficult to read him, because one minute he's up and the next minute he's down. One minute he's firing the Fed, the next minute he's not firing the Fed. Now, I don't hang my hat on the fundamentals and the news, but the fundamentals and the news are sometimes important, and they're causing a lot of problems here, man. Hey, Sophia, how's it from Sydney? It's been even tricky for me, and I've been doing this for a long time, and it's been tricky for me as well. So, yeah, don't exclude me. I'm not one of those guys that's gonna turn around to you and say, "I'm making millions. This is easy," and give you some fake statements and all that. No, that's not me. I don't get involved in all that. It is what it is. You win some, you lose some. That's 50-50. Nissan, I tell you, Nissan gave me my first job many years ago. Datsun, as they were then, they were known as. So I've got a little bit of a soft heart for them. It's so bad to see them go down. $4.9 billion. Oh, geez, I tell you what, they're in big trouble, eh? And they're not selling cars. They really are in big trouble. It'd be sad to see them go, really, it would. I don't buy their cars, honestly. So, yeah, that doesn't help either, does it? But yeah, no, I do have a soft spot for them, though. Republican task force chief wants to shield Fed from political influence. Fed toolkit. PepsiCo cuts annual profit forecast. Well, I hope Coke doesn't, because I'm a big shareholder of Coke. Stocks drop on tariff concerns. Dollar has further to fall, says Goldman Sachs. France seek protection from Chinese steel imports. ArcelorMittal job cuts. ArcelorMittal, that company made me a fortune about 15 years ago. I think it was 15 years, could be more or less. But I took a short on them, short trade. And I tell you what, it did so well. I'll never forget that. When I see that name, it's like, oh, I remember big bucks coming in off that one. That was a biggie. I enjoyed that one. Okay. Markets cling to trade optimism. Norway's wealth fund posts $40 billion loss. Okay, so there's a lot going on the news, guys. There's a hell of a lot going on the news. Of course, my NVIDIA is a little bit down as well. So that's not the best. This is just the funded trader. Why isn't this chart coming up? Must I reload it or what? Don't worry about it. We shall leave it there, and maybe it'll come up later. Okay. Let's go back to our normal charts and see if we can have a look at some patterns in the market. There we go. Let's get back on there. Right, so Euro, Great British Pound. I actually wanted to show the guys how to trade. Right, Gold looks terrible on the weekly. Shane, I don't think there's anyone else in Sydney except you, mate. I don't know. Is Sydney that big? Does it have more than one person? Okay. Yeah, gold, but gold looks good on the 4 hour. Look at that. Looks like it wants to bounce out of that. But yeah, I'm still a bit cautious on the gold based on the fact that I'm looking at it thinking gold. Wait a minute. Why is my mouse disappearing? Okay, sorry. Like I said, I did have a monitor explode this week, and I've put it something else in its place. I literally haven't gone out and invested in another one. I just put another one that I had here. It's a little bit dull, and it's big but dull, and just getting used to it. Okay, US 500. Yeah. That was gold. I'm looking at gold and thinking, it's come into this area. It looks like it wants to take money and bounce up, but how far will it go? And as you say, if you take it up to the day and you take it up to the weekly, it doesn't look that bad on the weekly. Sort of a bit straight up. It's not that bad. It's okay. It looks like it wants to continue on to the upside, gold. It really does. But I want to just go through a few lines for everyone. Just go through a few systems so everybody can see what the system is. And the important thing is, I'm near Parramatta. Where is Parramatta? I don't know. Really? I don't know that place. But you guys are neighbors. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, I must say, if I ever come through to Australia to visit some mates, I think my mate lives in Melbourne though. But yeah, I must come and look for Parramatta, that's for sure. Definitely. But okay, coffee with Rob, so let's have some coffee. I guess I better get on track, eh? So the first thing we're going to do is on this particular one, like this is the Euro Great British Pound, right? And you've got a bit of a movement here to the upside, hits the top, comes crashing down and sort of consolidates along the side here. And how do you find a trade if you're sitting with a chart like this? And the high probability system shows me that there is a demand level over here. Now, for those of you who don't know how to pick up a demand or a supply level, the simple way to do it is if you have 3 strong candles moving to the upside, so green candles, and in this case you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green candles, so that's a pretty strong level. You just take the red candle before it and draw your rectangle in off that. That'll be your demand of money at the bottom. It's like a support. If it comes into that, should take that money and start going up. And effectively on the top, it's simply the other way around. If you have 3 strong ones going down, you might have some money lying there. So if you look at this chart, you're going to find a supply level round about there. So you've got some money there and you've got some money there. And you can take those levels to the bank with you. But you might want to know, which way is this going? Quite simple, really. Trend lines are so important. You know, when I started trading 30 years ago, we only had trend lines. We only had railway lines. There was nothing else. Drawing in a moving average wasn't easy. We didn't have computers, so we just drew lines in, which told us that if it stays in that trend or if it breaks that trend, that's how we trade. And as you know, we trade with the trend. We counter trade the trend when it breaks out of the trend, in other words, break structure. Or if it sits in a range and it goes along in a straight line, you're obviously going to trade the straight line. But if you're looking for which way is my trade going to go, you can just put a trend line in, and you don't have to go to the day chart for this, and you don't have to draw in on the line chart if you don't want to. You can just put it in and just have a look at where you stand. What that's going to tell me is if it breaks through that trend resistance, because basically what makes a good resistance or support, what makes a good trend resistance or a good trend support is 3 touches on the line. Not a strict hard and fast rule with me. In fact, if there's 2 touches, I know I can see which way the trend's going, man. I don't need like 3, 4 touches on it. But if there's 3 touches on it, you know it's a strong line. And if it breaks that line, then I know it's broken structure and it's going the other way and you can take the opposite trade. But if it stays within that structure, then I know that it's staying within that structure. And this is kind of like an acute triangle going down here and it's kind of closing in, which means it could hit off that and head to the downside, which can be tricky. So what you want to wait for, you want to wait for it to break that and head on to the other side. But if you want to know where your serious support and resistance is, then what we're going to do, coffee with Zane, what we're going to do is we're going to take it to the day chart like we always do. And I've got to do this, guys, because there's a few guys who haven't quite mastered trading with support and resistance, haven't quite mastered trading price action. So I'm just going over this again. The system doesn't make you the money. This is just the high probability trade. Now, if I'm on the day chart, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to the line chart, and you guys can't see this line chart because your monitors are like mine. And yeah, then what you're going to do is you're going to look and see if there's any support or any resistance on this. And what I can see most of all is there is a support level lying about here, but it's also a bit of a resistance level, but that is pretty much support. If you draw that in, it's almost a waste of time on this particular product because your support is pretty much along this area here, and that was a resistance, broke through and became a support. It's really, really far away. You can leave it there, but it ain't that great. Now let's just look left and see what we've got in the way of a resistance. And that's interesting. The resistance is actually more interesting than the support here. Because if I look at a resistance level, it could go all the way to the top here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to draw it to there. That's just a spike through. So you've got resistance right on this supply level. And that's actually quite interesting. So now you've got a support, you've got a resistance, and that's on your day level, and you can leave that in. You can take it back to your 4 hour. Those are your levels. Take it back to your candle chart, and now you can work with this chart. And you don't need to do anything with it. Now you can just basically work with this chart and see which way you think it's going to go. There's your main resistance, so you know that's a strong resistance. There's your main support, so you know that's the main support. There's your demand level, there's your supply level, if you want to trade with that, if you want to add it in. But there's so much confluence with that. And then you've got a trend support and resistance in as well. And the trend is your friend, so it's good to know where the trend is going. And that's effectively, guys, how you take a high probability system and put it into place. You don't need a whole bunch of other indicators or anything in there, or moving averages or anything like that. All you need, that's all you need. Now you can read the chart. Now you can actually read what's happening. When we looked at the chart with nothing on it, it was just a chart. Just a chart looking at you and saying, I'm a chart. Now at least you can see perhaps which way it might go or might not go, where the money is. Because what's your job in the market? To look for the liquidity. And if you find the liquidity, then you know where the money is and you can trade off that money. And that's as simple as it gets. Now, there was a big head and shoulders developing there. Guess what? It never played out. But if it does play out, how does the head and shoulders work? The length of the head is the length of the direction it's going in. So if this head and shoulders plays out, if this price breaks below this level, below this shoulder level, which is here now, breaks below that, then it's going to go all the way down here to the support level. And it's so obvious because there's your main support level on the daily. There's the size of your head, and the size is pretty much there and thereabouts. It's going to hit that level. There you go. It's pretty straightforward. So if this breaks to the downside, it's gone. It breaks to the upside, and it breaks the head and shoulders, and then off she goes. That's what you're looking at. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So I hope that helps. I I'll show you the fib on another chart. I mean, the fib, if you look at the fib on this chart, it's actually pretty strong. Let's just do a quick fib, okay? I'm just going to put a quick fib retracement on here. Just for Shane's benefit. Why did it have to be that color? I'm just going to delete that, and I'm just going to change the color so that you can see it. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Okay, there you go. Fib retracement. I'm just going to draw it in so you can have a look. And for those of you who don't know fib retracements, between the 50 and the 61.8, that's your golden zone. If it's in here, the golden zone, that's the area where the market tends to like to turn around or do something. And in this case, it's just above it. It's on the 50. So it could go into this area. But in this case, if it does go into this area, it'll most likely break through it because of this big head and shoulders that would come into play. And in my book, that's normally stronger than something like a fib or even a price action. But if you are looking at Fibonacci's, use this to your advantage. Just the 50% line, it's bouncing off that, it's going back up. Not bad, but there's a bit of confluence here. If it breaks through that, it's going up. And if it bounces off that and comes back down, it'll probably go into this fib zone. Then you can just keep an eye on the 61.8, see if it stays above that or if it goes through it. And if it stays above that, bounces up, then you're going to get it bouncing back up. But in this case, I doubt it will bounce back up because of this head and shoulders pattern. But guys, I don't want to confuse you with too many systems. We keep it simple. So we trade with support and resistance. We trade with the trend lines. And of course, supply and demand is an extra that you can throw in. If you really want to throw in the fibs, please do. It's a great system. I love the fibs. I just don't want to confuse everybody with too many different systems. There are many times when I'm trading that I'll go and I'll draw all that stuff in and I'll think, maybe I should draw a fib in. Maybe I should have a look at the MACD or draw a moving average in and see where we are. For investing, I do use the moving average, but I use it in such a way. I use the 50 and the 200-day moving average. And the 50 and the 200-day moving average, if the 50-day moving average crosses above, then it's the golden cross. It's a great buy. And if the 50 moving average crosses through the 200-day moving average to the downside, that's a death cross. And that means that I don't want to invest in that product just yet. Okay. So it's Coffee with Rob. Is Kevin not here? Kevin hasn't been around for a couple of shows. I'm just wondering if Kevin's kids have done him in, beaten him up and locked him up in a cellar, like Joseph Fritzl or whatever his name was. Maybe Kevin's been locked away by his kids. I haven't seen him for a couple of days. Kevin, Shane's missing you. Come back, man. Oh, where are you? Right. CHF JPY. Now, it might be a good idea to look at a fib on CHF JPY just for a little bit of interest's sake. Let's see what we got on this. See, once again, look at this, Shane. Your fib retracement that you like. Let's just see. There you go. Look at that. Similar sort of spot, actually. Similar sort of spot. There's no head and shoulders here. This is a great trade. So it's hitting the 50, bouncing up. It could go to the 61.8 worst case scenario. It looks like it wants to bounce up here and head on up to the upside. So it's actually bouncing off the 50 line, which is not bad if you think about it. That looks like a decent thing. So yeah, there's no point in getting rid of that, is there? Okay, I just want to delete that now because it's there. I don't like having a lot of lines on the chart. I really don't. It gets a little bit messy. It's like having dog's breakfast. Message him, Kevin, where are you? Compare that with daily. Yeah, Kevin, where are you? How do we message Kevin? Maybe on the Discord. Shane, drop Kevin a message. Tell him, hey, get your butt over here. Right, okay. Let's put this on the daily. Can we? Why? Oh, come on. There we go. Suppose I'm on the wrong screen or something again. Right, so let's just have a look at the fib on the daily. That's only on 38 on the daily. But okay, it will come down a little bit further. That's okay. That's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. Sometimes it'll bounce on the 38 as well. But I like the golden zone. Look, if I was to say on the daily, I'd probably expect it to come down a bit lower, but with it being in structure, it could still come down to this 171 if it really wanted to. But with it being in structure, it's on that. There's money here. There is definitely money here. So I'm expecting it to take that much and just give us a little bit of an upside before it comes down. That's what I was playing for. I was playing for this little bit of upside before it comes down. It was heading up. Look, it's in structure, going up, going up. So yeah, it should keep on going up. We'll see what happens. The market's 50-50. We all know that. Sophia, have you been here that long ago? It took me a long time to get to 10K subscribers, let me tell you. I'm not as popular as those guys that, throw out the you can buy a Lamborghini in a week thing. But yeah, I did get 10K subscribers. We got to a good place. And it's quite an achievement. It's quite cool. I can't wait to get those little buttons. That's so cool. When I do something, I actually don't, let's put it this way, I don't target the money, I target the achievement. And I love achieving. I love, like of trading as well. It's actually quite important. This is actually a very important point. With trading, if you're targeting the money, you're probably going to fail. Target some achievement, target some success, have a bit of fun with it, and you'll get better at it. And then the money will come. You know what I mean? So it's the same with trading. Don't chase the money. Try and chase the success. Try and, it's like a game. Like if you play cards or Monopoly or something, you want to win. You want to try and achieve something. If you play chess, you want to win. There's no money in it. You just want to win. You just want to be good at it. And that was me with trading. I just wanted to be good at it, and that's what you want to achieve. The money doesn't, it'll come, that comes with it. And that's this thing with YouTube. I just want to achieve. I want to get those guys will show you a little button and all that sort of stuff. I want to get there. I want to get to that point and just show that I can actually do this and succeed with something like this. There's a lot of people that say to me, "What, Rob? You're going to do YouTube? Forget it. You'll never get that right." Well, there you go, guys. 10,000 subs. I'm pretty chuffed. I can shove that in a few friends' faces. Yeah, they're probably watching this and thinking, "You idiot." But anyway, that's it's great. Thanks, Sophia. I'm really, really quite chuffed with myself for getting the channel to that level, even with not promising people millions of dollars like the others do. And it's actually quite interesting to, maybe people just need to enjoy the videos and that sort of thing, and that'll make all the difference. But I'm working on making this nice. CHF JPY might actually go a little bit deeper, and it did concern me when I looked at it this morning, thinking, got into that trade maybe a bit early, and it could go deeper. It could easily go to 170, which is not great. But okay, we'll see how it is. I might actually put that stop loss back in its real place because it's been trailing up, and I don't know. Let me just see how that trade goes, and I'll take it from there. Trading, it's mainly psychology. What I would like to recommend to everyone trading, I don't give recommendations. What am I doing? No, I don't. What I would do is look at it more as I don't want to say this to you, but look at it more like a game. Look at it more like fun. Look at it more like something you want to achieve, something you want to get right. If you're starting out with this, have some fun with it. Figure it out. And then, at the end of the day, you'll figure the money out as you go. We all want to make money. I mean, come on, it's just normal. I mean, people used to say to me, why do you want to do this type of work or this job or whatever the case? And people would come up with all these stories for the love of people and the love of this and all this rubbish. And I always tell them, no, for the money, actually. But actually, with trading and with these other things, that's for me more about fun. if I went to work for somebody else, I'd be doing it for the salary. But if I'm doing it for myself, I'm doing it for the love of it. And if it turns into a job, so be it. And that's what's happened with trading. It turned into a kind of a job, turned into an income. And then that obviously becomes your job. As long as it doesn't become something you don't want to do anymore, because that also becomes a problem. It's like you want to be a trader, you love it so much, and then it becomes monotonous and you don't like doing it anymore. Or a racing driver or whatever you want to do, play football, and then it just becomes a chore and you don't want to go there anymore. And that's the problem. It starts out as a bit of fun and then it can become monotonous. So as long as it doesn't do that to you, then it's okay. That's a bit like YouTube. If it becomes like something you have to do and something I've got to get up and do YouTube today, then there's no point in doing it anymore. Then I've lost my mojo. But I must say I haven't lost my mojo for trading. That's pretty addictive. And I most certainly haven't lost my mojo for playing around with YouTube. So that's a bit of fun. And there's many other things that I get involved in as well. But it's all fun. It's all good stuff. Kevin, there you are. Kevin's here. We've been missing you, dude. You know that, well, yeah, we've been missing you. Terrible. And there has been too much volatility, Kevin. It's been, like I was saying earlier in the video, that this guy keeps standing up and changing his mind. One day he's like saying, I'm going to nail the Fed into the ground, and the next day he's like, no, we're just going to leave them alone and everything will be fine. Or today I'm going to put tariffs on everyone, and tomorrow it's like, we'll hold off. And nobody knows what the hell he's going to do next. So it becomes rather confusing. Now, while markets need volatility, we do need some kind of consistency as well from the guys in charge. Like, at least you should know if that guy's going to stand up. He's probably going to be negative and you've got something to play with. But this guy, I mean, one day he's up and the next day he's down. You just don't know what to do with him. So it becomes complicated because you pick patterns in the market, you pick high probability trades, and then they kind of go against you because of things like that. But look, if you're scalping, you'll probably do okay in a market like this if you get it right. But if you get it wrong, then it's going to take you out. 99% of traders lose money, as you know. So you got your choices there. But if you get it right, volatility can make you a lot of money. Like, for example, if you pick Bitcoin this week, if you went into Bitcoin and at the right time, BTC, look at the run you would have had. It would have been pretty good. It would have been pretty good, and then you could sit back and boast about how much money you made on Bitcoin. So I'm going to make millions on Bitcoin because look what I did. Look at how clever I am. I chose Bitcoin. But effectively, this, like any other instrument, this is a 50-50. We did call it here with this level, but doesn't mean anything. It's broken out of that resistance level, which has now become a support, and it's gone on to the upside after a retest, but it's gone up insanely. That said, crypto is quite volatile, but this would have made a lot of people a lot of money if they were on the right side of the trade. If you were on the wrong side of the trade, that would have been insane. But if you're on the right side of the trade, like I say, then you make money out of it. But it's much of a muchness, like I always say. If you pick right, great, you can boast about it. You pick wrong, blow your account, mate. So, yeah. Trade with caution, eh? Trade with caution. Trading is risky. Most people lose, and that's why most people lose. It's great to say, look at what I did. Look at that. I picked that trade. I'm so good at trading. And then, yeah, if you picked it wrong, you're not going to tell anyone, are you? That's always the problem. Yeah, Trump can tweet and everything changes. You're right, Kevin. The old Trumpy. Yeah. Mind you've been playing in the 1 minute time frame. I've been playing in the 1 minute time frame with some luck. Shane, you can play in the 5 minute, the 1 minute time frame, like anything, and you can pick off a few trades and you can make a bit of money. But what actually happens there when you go into the lower time frames is you have to remember that, for example, if I take a trade and I risk $250, it might be in a sense of like, let's take this CHF JPY trade. There's a good, good amount of distance between my cost and my stop loss. There's 1,383 pips between my cost and my stop loss. So it's going to take quite a lot for it to get to that. And if it does, then I'll lose $250. If I'm trading on the 1 minute and the 5 minute, then I'm talking about having 5 or 10 pip risks. And that's not a lot of movement. That's just like quick. So you're gonna have to choose those trades pretty much right on most occasions. So the information that you're getting out of that time frame is very, very limited. And it really does become a 50-50. It really does. That's a situation where your probabilities are not even high. It's just kind of like, oh, I'm choosing that direction because it looks like the right direction, and then you hope that Trump doesn't stand up and knock it the other way. So yeah, you can make a lot of money out of it if you get it right. You got to get it right, and that's the problem. So with those trades, you're going to have to put a lot of research in, and you really, these systems don't give you an edge. They're all 50-50. What gives you the edge is your strategy. You've got to have the right strategy, and the strategy that we use will work. It's just that you're trading a lot faster with it. You can almost call it high stakes because you're trading with smaller amounts of pips to actually make that work. But yeah, if you get it right, it works great. Like that experiment we did on that demo account a few weeks ago, where I played around with the 5-minute charts to try and prove to you that we could lose, and we won. Insane, isn't it? And I mean, in a couple of minutes, it made $1,500. It was crazy. If it was real money, I would have been like, wow, that's great. But if it was real money, I would have actually been a lot more nervous as well, because the losses can be quite insane on those little time frames, because it doesn't have time to move. So if you've got the time to make money, you can relax with 4-hour, 1-hour charts, day charts, that sort of thing. But if you don't have the time and you're trying to rush it, then that's where the problem starts to come in. That's when it starts to become a little bit more tricky. Sorry, I had that on the wrong time frame there. H4. Go. Danny, divergence for me, I've experimented with in the past, and it doesn't work that well. There's not enough trades to go around with divergence. That's where the main problem comes in. There's so many trades that you'll miss if you only use divergence. If I see divergence, I pay heed and I take heed of it. If I see it, if I'm looking for it, but as you see, I don't put the RSI on my charts. So the chances of me seeing it, probably null. But if I do see it, and it does appear, and I do happen to put an MACD or a RSI on my chart, and I do notice a divergence, I will take notice of it. And if it plays into confluence with what I'm doing, that's great. But I won't specifically trade on divergence, because I have tried in the past and there just isn't enough going around, and you're not going to get as many trades from it. And I found that most of the trades actually lost. Interestingly enough, on divergence, I see jobless claims rose. Ooh, okay. That should be interesting. But yeah, they're still staying in the same level though, in the 200,000s. I don't know why people panic if it changes by 1,000 or whatever the case. But anyway, like I say, divergence, yeah, Danny, a lot of people like to use divergence, but for me, my experiments proved frugal. It didn't work. Maybe it works on the very low time frames. I haven't tried that. But on the higher time frames, it kind of just, most of the trades actually lost, to be honest with you, went against. You can use it in confluence with something else. You can look at something and say, ooh, look at that, there's divergence, and there's, it's coming off the resistance or whatever the case, and then you can sort of, yeah, okay, it works. Hmm. Yeah, look for market structure. I do scan the time frames to find market structure that I understand. I used to scalp, but now swing trade works better for me. I would love to swing trade, but I think my brain likes the moment. You see, this is where it comes in. You're trying to, do it on the moment. But look, what's the day trading? What's the lower time frames? You tend to have to sit and watch the charts all day. You can't really position trade them. You actually have to trade them. Whereas on the higher time frames, you can put a trade in and you can literally just walk away and come back later. So there is that aspect of it. If you like sitting watching the charts and you like to be in the moment, you like to take the trades, then if you can master 5-minute trading and you can actually start making some money out of it, that would actually be quite fantastic. But yeah, if you can't, well, that's where the trick comes in. That's where it becomes a little bit problematic. Andrew, how's it? Good to see you back. Yeah. You see, the thing with Sophia, when you say you used to scalp as well, the thing with scalping is if you're scalping, you don't actually have a proper strategy or a stop loss in place or a proper business plan with scalping. It's just like quickly get in, take some money and go. And what I found with scalping, the worst thing about it was that you would win 8 trades in a row, and it's easy to win 8 trades in a row, and like, yeah, win, because it's a high probability system and all the rest of it. And then the 9th trade goes into a loss, and it takes all the profits from the last 8 trades, and that can be quite soul destroying. But like what Shane does, he uses our strategy. He has the stop loss in place, and that actually works if you have a proper strategy. But the thing with it, like I say, is then you are risking on instead of 1,000 pips, maybe 10 pips, and there's a big difference between risking on 10 pips and risking on 1,000 pips. And the information coming from a 1 minute or a 5-minute chart is that much less reliable. You can't be sure. So it's very much a 50-50, and it really does depend. Yeah, you got to trust the setups, and it. Thanks, Andrew. I thought I'd have a bit of fun with a thumbnail today. 1 or 2 here and there, since it's out there. Just if it works, maybe that'll be the future. But yeah, we'll see. I'm just having a bit of fun with it. And I always have a bit of fun with these things. Try them out. But yeah, it's trusting the strategy, trusting the setup, and whether you're trading on the 5-minute or the 4-hour, you're using the same setup. If you use the strategy right, you can do okay with it. What I would find is on the 5-minute chart or the 1-minute chart, I would actually rather trade maybe with supply and demand or something like that rather than support and resistance. But same thing at the end of the day, maybe a bit of trend or whatever the case. But like I say, you're trading on a much smaller movement. It's in and out. And as long as you stick to the strategy, you're okay. But if you start scalping and you don't stick to the strategy, you gotta try and keep the stop loss at a certain level so that you can lose less. So that's where the trick comes in. But in a market like this, where old Trumpy's standing up every day and changing his mind, it's not the worst thing to do. But like I say, you have to be able to get it right. Most people can't. But like I say, I don't. I tried for. Actually, I did it for a couple of years, day trading. Got these. My eyes started to fall out the sockets because I was looking at computer screens all day, and that can be quite painful. it's not for me anymore. I was having fun with it, yeah, and it was keeping me busy, yeah, but it was keeping me so busy I couldn't really do anything else. That becomes an issue in your life. Look, if you need the dosh and you need to do it, that's great. But if you don't need to do it, the money in the markets is really made by time in the market. That doesn't mean you have to trade higher time frames. That just means you have to invest. If you really want to make money in the markets, it's time in the market. I always tell people this, but no one will believe me. I didn't believe the older guys when I was younger, by mistake. But yeah, if you can put money in the market and leave it there for a long period of time, you'll make money. Time in the market will always make you money, every single time without fail. And it doesn't matter whether the market goes up or down. It doesn't bother you. Have you ever seen Warren Buffett stressed? Probably not. That's because he works on the principle, time in the market. And he just buys and he holds for forever. And he never sells anything. It's time in the market. That's how the markets work. But yeah, trading, the faster you go, the more chances you have of losing. And, well, that's a fact. I mean, like I said, like I showed you this Bitcoin chart earlier today. And I said, there's so many traders that would have taken this trade long. They'll have every excuse under the sun as to why they took it. But if I had taken it, I would have said, well, it broke through the resistance and it retested and I took the trade. There's many traders that would have taken it the other way because that's how the market works. There's 50% of the traders would have said they're going the other way, and a lot of them said they're going up. The ones that took it long will be boasting about how well they did and how great a trader they are and how well they did on that trade. Tomorrow, they're going to take a trade that's going to do the opposite to them. And then they're not going to tell you about that one, that's for sure. Our funded account, at the moment, I didn't take any trades in between, guys, or did I? I don't think so. The CHF JPY I took because we were discussing it on Tuesday. And we said we were going to go long. And then I took the long trade and I put it on Discord and said, okay, I've taken the trade for us. The Brent crude oil trade, we took a few days before that even. So those are the only two trades we've got on the go at the moment. The only reason I took the CHF JPY is because we were discussing it on Tuesday together. The accounts at 23,820, because it did take those losses in that early stage, right? That 1 week where Trumpy went mad, we took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses there. There was one small profit in between, then there was a 6th loss. There was quite a few losses that week that took the account down. And then we had a couple of wins. We had the Jap that gave us a win. This was a trailing stop that went out, still a win. And then we had another win on the Great British Pound, US dollar. So we had 3 wins against 6 heavy losses. So we're not destroyed, but we would like to get the account back on a better level. But if we find some more trades, we'll take them. But I have been, even on my cash accounts and everything, very cautious at the moment. Because as I told you, most of my income comes from the investments anyway. So even on the cash account side, I've been trading a lot less based on the fact that I'm not 100% comfortable with the way this guy's getting up every day and just changing the rules. I need to see a little bit more conviction there. But I was waiting for the US 500 for a nice long trade. I'm waiting for this because this for me will be the biggest win of the lot. That's going to be a biggie. On the cash account, I'm waiting for this to go long. Because when this goes long, it's going to go all the way up. So waiting for it to finish correcting. And I'm going to throw the kitchen sink at that one. And of course, whatever else comes along, we shall look at as well. Cool. Bitcoin, I was actually waiting for it to get down to the 70s, but it didn't really, and stayed up at close to 80, and now it's bounced up again. Brent crude oil, in all honesty, I have kind of thrown a bit of the kitchen sink at it in the cash account. So, and we've got it long here as well, and I've got it long on another account as well. So, Brent, I'm in, and gold, I had a long trade on the cash account, and I sold it a while ago, but I haven't got back in again. But yeah, it's been iffy. It's been very iffy. I must say, it hasn't been a great time for making good profits. But we'll get the account up. It'll go well. We'll get it going again. But I don't want to take too many trades outside of the shows. You know, if we discuss something and we're talking about it, that's why I got into that one. And then I'll look at it, and if it comes right, I'll take it. And that one I did take, but it's kind of not worked out. All right. Yeah. Combination, a question, Rob, on the funded account. What are your feelings on Aussie dollar, US dollar? I'll have a look. Do you trade according to the drawdown amount or the size of the account? I trade according to the size of the account. I do keep in mind that the drawdown is there. So I do try to keep our account alive. So for example, on my cash account, I'll happily take 10 trades. I'll take 10 trades and I can lose 10%, knowing that my account's still going to be there. But the funded account, I can literally only take 4 trades because you can only lose 4% per day. So I've got to be careful to keep the account alive. Otherwise, I'll just take the account away. So I try not to take more than 4 or 5 trades on the funded account for us, and watch that drawdown. Okay. About peace deal in Ukraine is not helping. Should calm down after the US make up their mind if they are done with it or not. I think they are done with it. I think they're done with Ukraine, but we shall see what happens. The thing with Brent, Andrew, is as I always say, Brent trades between 65 and 105 on any good day. It does get lower and it does get higher, but on average, most of the time, 80% of the time, Brent will trade between 65 and 105. So my basis of the whole trade is, besides the technicals, I'm kind of like, throw the kitchen sink at it. It's at its lows. And I know it's a supermarket mentality that I always talk against. But I know the market, and I know commodities, and I know what prices they run at. And I know that Brent runs at those prices. The chances of Brent really going to zero right now are, neither here nor there. It's not going to happen. So I'm kind of looking at it as Brent has to get back to normality. And the main reason for that is because the people that are running oil don't want it to go too low, and they control the price, and they try and keep the price between 70 and 80, 85. They want the price there. That's where they want the price. So it's going to be difficult to I wouldn't go short on it. Let me put it that way. I'm much more comfortable being long at this price. So I'm not too concerned on Brent. And then I will look at the Aussie dollar. Captain Rob, Andrew, good one, lol. Where is the Aussie dollar, US dollar, let's have a look at it. Aussie dollar, US dollar. I don't have it on here, do I? Okay, let's just put it up. Aussie dollar, US dollar. I did have a look at it earlier today. I'm just going to have another quick look. Aussie dollar, US dollar. There's your Aussie dollar, US dollar. Aussie dollar, US dollar. Now, I know I've got it down. As a sell. And the main reason for that, you see that yellow line there on the Aussie dollar, US dollar? That's a solid resistance. Now, it did manage to break through that, but when it came back to retest, it broke back through it. Then it's found its way up again, and it's broken back through it again. Now it's tried to retest again, and it hasn't broken through it. My main reason for saying maybe it's a bit short. Now, also, it's kind of sitting in this range and it's kind of falling over. It's kind of, this is a picture, with experience you'll see this, guys. It's almost like it's starting to fall over. Try to picture a load on the back of a van that's sort of leaning over and it's falling and it's like going over. That's kind of what your chart looks like as well. Yeah, your load is kind of pitching over, it's kind of falling over. And you'll see this picture in the market. There isn't a name for it. And it's that lean, that's like it's top heavy and it just wants to topple. Now, if you look very, very, very carefully, you can also see there's a head and shoulders in here. Not a big one, but it's there. There's a shoulder, there's a head, there's a shoulder. Doesn't have to be straight. It can be a little bit skewed. So with that resistance that it doesn't want to break, and with this lean over, I'm kind of calling it short. I'm kind of saying Euro US dollar wants to, Aussie dollar US dollar, sorry, wants to fall over. It wants to collapse. We could even actually take that trade on a 50-50 and see what happens. But yeah, that is where I am with it at the moment. I'm on a short with it, and that's just, it's difficult to explain this to you in lines because there are no lines for this. This is just simple. I've seen it before, and it's a picture I've got in my mind. It's falling over. It could bounce and go straight up, but there's no flag pattern there. There's no directional pattern at all. It's just a fall over, and that looks to me like it's leaning over. And it gets heavy, and then it collapses. But like a flag, the flagpole formations, when they go straight up, they also fall over quite easily. Ooh. Okay. I actually would be happy. Let's take a short on Aussie dollar, US dollar. Against all odds, let's take a short on the Aussie dollar, US dollar. And I'll tell you what, we're going to target 62.5. Stop loss I'll put up at 64.5, above these highs, 64.5, okay? 64.5. 64.5 and 0.4. Yeah. 0.4 lots gives us a loss of $267, $2,265. Okay, there we go. That's cool. And then take profit. Let's see if it's worth our while. 62.5. I hope you guys are watching what I'm doing here. Okay? See how I worked out $250 loss? Well, it's 260. It's close enough. And a profit on take profit. So I've looked at the stop loss, and then I've looked at the profit, and then I've put it in here, and I can see where we are. Okay, and I can see what our trade's about. And that's a sell, place order, boom, and it's in. Okay, so we've now got a short on the Aussie dollar, US dollar, with a view to it coming down to here and not going above there. Okay, Aussie dollar, US dollar. What have I done here now? Oh, all right, I've got this here, of course. Okay, there we go. Aussie dollar, US dollar in. That's now our trade, and I'm gonna put it in place of the Euro Great British Pound, so that we don't lose it. I like it to be on the watch list if we own it. Aussie dollar, US dollar. There we go. Let's go and see what we got. And my target was 62.5. I'm just going to draw the levels in over here. Okay, take it today. And the day chart. And yeah, that's why we got the levels in there. Let's draw that in. Okay, there we go. There's the level. I'll put it in there. Perfect. And that's your support. And there is a, you see, this is what we didn't even see now, is there's a big resistance in here. I just want to draw it in a little bit better. Go. Oh, that's kind of like, there you go, neither here nor there. Make it a bit bigger, but it isn't on the day chart, so I'll put it back on the candles. That's on the day chart. We can put it back on the H4, and there you go. So see, it didn't break through, didn't go up, and it's rolling over, coming down. Good chance that this has been in a range. Look at that. Sometimes things just work out. That's in a range, that's in a, look at that. Hit the top, hit the top, hit the top, hit the top. And it tried to break through, hit the top. Looks like it wants to come down off there and go back down to this level. Where did we put it? 62.5. So this might actually work out as a reasonable trade. Okay. We'll see what happens. Good show. Aussie dollar, US dollar, in, traded, done, we're in. Okay, Shane, I'm glad you're long. I'm so glad that Shane is long on the Aussie dollar, US dollar. He'll tell you why. Oh, no. Just going to put US dollar, Canadian dollar up there so let's see. Yeah, that looks interesting. Okay. All right. We don't own it, do we? No, we don't. Yeah, I've seen a big problem with that. Different brokers, different charts. It's getting a bit annoying at times. But I noticed that these charts are not too far off. Okay, on the main ones. They kind of match my MetaTrader and all that, so pretty close. But these ones are pretty good. There you go. Shane said it. Do the opposite. Shane's long, I go short. I'm just kidding. Sorry, mate. You know, you put that in my head and just like it works, eh? Oh no. Yeah. But some of your trades have worked out, Shane. Which ones were yours? I can't remember really. But some of them I think have worked out. I don't know who called CHF JPY last time, but that hasn't worked out. But okay, so Aussie dollar, US dollar. We looked at it. Now, I don't want to call it Andrew's trade because he was long and I'm going short. So that's kind of unfair to call it that. But while Andrew brought it to our attention, so we'll give it to Andrew as Andrew's trade. So there we go. Aussie dollar, US dollar. Just lucky. Yeah. But was it David? Okay. All right. Well, you know, you get the odd call that doesn't work and the odd call that does work. So hopefully a couple of these trades can work out. And I can't remember who called Brent. It might even have been me. I don't know. But okay, I think everybody called Brent, to be honest with you. It might have been me because I've had it on my other accounts. But yeah, Aussie dollar, US dollar, it looks nice to me as a short. I got to say, guys, come on, you got to look at it and say, that doesn't look bad at all, man. It looks okay, eh? Looks okay. And it looks like it's in the levels. So take a punt on it. I'm taking a punt on it. And, you know, in times like this, when Donald's like changing his tune every day, you got to look for trades like that. That's the only way to make some money out of it. Now, if that was on a 5-minute chart, You know, every single one of you guys here would take that trade based on the fact that it's hit resistance and it's coming down. But because it's on a longer, more stretched out sort of chart, you're like, maybe, maybe not. But like I said to you guys, a little bit of experience. I'm watching it. It's falling over like a load on the back of a van. So it looks to me like it wants to fall over. That's a bit of experience. You've seen it and then you see it going. No pressure, Andrew. All the pressure's on you. No pressure on me. I've removed all the pressure and put all the pressure on Andrew. Yeah, no, totally. No, I'll take half the pressure. It's okay. And I'm the one who called it short here, and you brought it to our attention. It's a interesting trade. Send a message to the Discord so you can see the difference. Okay, I haven't got the Discord switched on here at the moment. I'll have a look at it. But okay, interesting. What are these dollar signs at the top here? Has that got any meaning? I don't know. Maybe if you click on that, you spend money. I don't know. Something. I'm not touching it. Right. Okay. Okay. So where were we? Okay. So we're on the Aussie dollar, US dollar. We're short. Okay. So we've got the CHF JPY is not working out for us. That was seemingly David's trade. And then Brent crude oil is working, going in the right direction. So at least something. Better than nothing, eh? Okay. Let's see what happens. And in classic fashion, you take a trade and it just doesn't want to go anywhere, does it? It just sits there and does nothing. Always good. What's the date tomorrow? 21st. We've got a public holiday on the 27th. 27th. Tomorrow's the 25th. Okay. Where are you, Andrew? Yeah, where are you? Yeah, no, certainly. Saying strange things. Okay. Australia, yep. So what's your public holiday? Okay. What strange things am I saying, Eugene? Go on, tell us what we're saying wrong. What are we saying? What strange things are we saying? I always say strange things. It's what I do best. I say strange things. Keeps everybody on their toes, doesn't it? This US dollar, Canadian dollar, I'm pretty sure I was waiting for that to go long, and then it's come out, popped its head out, and it's going back in again. The US dollar, Canadian doesn't want to go. ANZAC Day. Anzac Day. What the hell is that? Is it an abbreviation or an actual name of something? I don't know. Public holidays. Yeah. You know, when you worked for someone, and I worked for someone till I was about 27 years old, I used to love weekends and public holidays and Christmas time and all those things. You know, annual leave, all that stuff. And then when you go off and you start doing your own thing, public holidays become a nightmare. End of the month becomes a nightmare. And weekends, you know, like become a nightmare, and everything just changes. Yeah, you don't want to be on that. That's crazy. Fully nice. Yeah. Dum 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 dum. Okay. So Eugene, tell me what strange things am I saying, man? Go on, tell me. Bum 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 bum. Maybe it's something I don't know about. Maybe there's someone impersonating me or something. I don't know. Had a few of those. Yeah, if you guys see someone impersonating me, you need to let me know. But yeah, it's difficult to find them. I know on the Discord we had a big problem. Jeez, I'll tell you what. Still, and that one guy keeps coming back. I don't know what to do with him. Australia and New Zealand company. Army. That's cool, man. That's cool. South Africa doesn't have an army anymore. I think we've got one airplane left and one helicopter and destroyed on the street. If anybody wants to attack South Africa, now's the time, man. Can have it for free. You just like march in, take what you want. No one's going to stop you, that's for sure. Yeah, that's terrible. And old Donald, he took all the money away from South Africa as well. Said, no more. That's it. You guys are on your own. So yeah, it's going to get worse. Funnily enough, though, the South African rand actually kind of strengthened a bit over the last couple of days, which was a surprise. Hi, Ronald. BTC, we were looking at it earlier. And as I was saying, you know, oddly enough, there'll be some guys that would have bought BTC and at this point, and they would all be saying, look at how much money I made. Ah, genius. There we go. Brilliant. All the way to the top. And yeah, what I see, Ronald, what I see is this level, and I also see this level here. Let me draw another one in so you can see it there. These are supply and demand levels, so these are demand, right? Both demand levels. So what I see at the moment is the possibility, let me just make this yellow so you can see what I'm doing. What I see is the possibility of this coming down into there, taking that money and then bouncing to the upside. Or worst case scenario, could get worse, and it could also break all the way through down to that level and then bounce and then carry on down. So do I see it rising? No, not really. I see a bit of a correction. I see it maybe coming to take this money and then going up. 100,000 seems to have capped it at the moment. People pushed Bitcoin up to 100,000, then it's just fallen down and run sideways. This was a good run up, and it's coming close to 100,000 again, and it's falling over. That's a big undecided candle in the middle there. So it looks to me like it wants to come down, take this money, perhaps a little bit further down, do a retest of this trend. What was trend resistance is now trend support. Probably come all the way back down into the 80s, retest, and then go back up. So Bitcoin, as far as rising goes, I'd wait for a better opportunity to get in if that's what you're looking for. When it comes to investments, I won't invest in crypto because I don't believe in it. I think it's fresh air, but I'll trade any market. So if there's something to trade, I'll trade it. But I won't invest in it because I don't think it's worth anything. I don't think it's got any actual value as such. Andrew, no, do you know what? Elon granted our farmers green cards. Didn't grant me a green card. I mean, if I go there, my age, I'm a trader, okay? So now I'm going to arrive in the USA and say, what do? I'm a trader. Go home. But if I arrive there and I'm 30 years old, 40 years old, I've got something to offer, claim some refugee status, and I'm a farmer, then they want me. Then they'll take me. So there's not an open invitation, to be honest with you. It's not. If you do go there and you claim refugee status, for example, you claim, no, I can't live in Africa anymore. They're treating me really badly, and so on and so on and so on. Okay. And let's say they say to you, okay, Rob, you can come and stay in America. That's great. Do you realize that if you take that status, you can literally never in your life ever again come back to South Africa and visit friends or family or anything like that because you've taken that status? So that's one problem that you've got if you do go that route. So yeah, I saw what Elon and Trump did with that, and you know, I don't know how many of our farmers are actually taking it on. There was a big hoo-ha that 70,000 of our farmers are taking it on and whatnot, but they're not. They're actually not. And we've got a group here called AfriForum that look after particularly the farmers and that sort of thing. And they've all said that it's a whole lot of, whatever. And no, we're still trying to stand together as a country. You know, they're always trying to separate us. They're always trying to pull us apart, particularly in race groups and that sort of thing. And I think South Africa is quite a good example of how race groups can come together if you need to, and how we can stand together as South Africans rather than hate each other or whatever the case. It is a big problem in the world where it seems like the governments of the world are really trying to push people apart, whether it be with religion, whether it be with race, whether it be with language, whatever the case. It's always the same. The village concept, that whole village concept. And as long as people stand together on the ground, it will get better. You know, if you go to any country in the world, and you think, ooh, I don't want to go there, gonna have a problem there, you know, like wherever it might be, Syria, whatever, you go there and you think, I'm gonna die. And the people on the ground are fantastic. The people walking around that are looking normal and looking after the country are great people. The people that are causing the problems are really the people at the top. Ukraine as well. I mean, Russia, whatever. If you go and meet general Russian people, they're not bad people. They're nice people, decent people. Wherever you go in the world, and this is something I shouldn't be talking about, and I shouldn't definitely be talking about it on this channel, but just a feeling from my point that too many times we get dragged in a direction by the powers that be, and it's not good. It's not good for anyone. And yeah, I got to say that on our side, I haven't seen the farmers leave. We're still operating. We're a bit broke because the US hasn't given us any money. And yeah, there has been a lot of corruption, a lot of people stealing money, but that happens everywhere in the world with politicians and whatnot. And it's them that cause the problems in the first place. You know, the people on the ground don't want to hate each other. They want to be friends and they want to get along and they want to go to the pub together and have a beer. They're not interested in all this rubbish. It's insane. So yeah, no, it is a problem worldwide, and I'd like to see it go away, but yeah, it's not easy to make it go away. Sorry about that rant, guys. That's just my feeling. Short news. So, Reinhold, you keeping your buy-in, okay? So that's fine. Short US dollar Japanese yen. I'll have a look now. The refugee program is not official yet. It's not only for farmers, but all that is being discriminated against. The program is being formalized in Congress currently. Maybe too short. Yeah, Ronald, at the end of the day, you know, the discrimination does come from the top in the sense that, you know, it's very difficult for minority groups and that sort of thing to get jobs in our country and that sort of stuff. And, you know, but we'll get over that. Somewhere down the line, we'll get over that. At the moment, we have a government and national unity. So everyone's in there. They're fighting the systems and trying to make it a better place for us. And I know it's not easy, but yeah, we shall see. And of course, they're trying to make those offers to us, which is, do I really want to move to America? I don't know. I love South Africa. I love Africa. It's in my blood, so maybe I'd rather stay here. Okay. And it says would have you even if you are an old trader. Great. I'm pretty sure they'll send me home. But yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Yeah, sometimes I get on a rant. I can't help it. It's just, you know, sometimes those things inside your head just come out, and you can't stop it. And yeah, that's crazy, crazy stuff. Just like to see, you know, it's kind of more free and fair for all than it is at the moment. Okay, so yeah, let's just see what we got. Where were we before I went off on my rant? Somebody asked about US dollar Japanese yen. Let's have a wee look. US dollar Japanese yen. And if I remember correctly, it was short, wasn't it? It was a short trade that we had. US dollar Japanese yen. Wherever I put it, US dollar Japanese yen, all the way up there. Okay, I want gold, I want US dollar Japanese yen. And it's still pretty short. I don't know. There's a big yellow line that I've drawn in. That's the resistance. Okay. You can work from anywhere in the world, Ronald. That's actually great. You know what I thought of is living in the Philippines. It doesn't sound too bad. But then I'll get blown away by some storm. The islands there are amazing. Oh, nice. That's the one place I might go to. But yeah, no, I'm happy at the moment. Yeah. To the UK. Gee whiz, Kevin. Have a rant, man. Have a rant. You could start a YouTube channel based on the UK. Yo. The UK has gone down the tubes, eh? Sure, I can't believe it. Can't believe it. It's insane. I can't believe that a country that was supposed to have social, you know, or social grants and things that look after people is in such disarray. It's quite insane, really. Okay, so US dollar back to trading. US dollar Japanese yen. What do we got here? Look at this. Just a quick look, guys. Just a quick look. I mean, I've been calling this short for a long time, but it does seem to want to try and find its way out. But that is kind of where we stand with it at the moment. And then you've got the long one coming down. Let's just see. If we want to do it on trend, we can do it on trend. And there we go. It's pretty interesting, guys. So there's a little triangle that it needs to break out of either way. And at the moment, it hasn't broken out either way. Big monster coming down, long bearish trend. If it breaks to the downside, it carries on down. You see it's come down, up, down. Could carry on going down. And then there's this possible break to the upside if it breaks through there. So I would wait for it to break through there or to break through there. Then, of course, you've got some money lying here at a slightly lower level. Why did I draw these in here? This must be, yeah, there's some support there, and there's a demand of money. So let's just draw that little demand of money in, out of interest's sake. It's always fun. There we go. We'll draw that in. Look at that. Right there, on a support, there's a whole lot of money there that could come into that, bounce up, long trade. But it's just, it would be nice if it could break through that. But yeah, you could get a long trade out of that right there, but you got to be careful because you are trading against the trend and it hasn't broken structure. So remember, on the short term, you've got a bit of thing going in your favor. You've got this sort of movement here in your favor, but measured. Look at the measurement of this. This is where a bit of experience comes in. Look at the measurement of that. Look at the measurement of that in the past. What distance is your railway? Okay. So pretty much there it is, there and thereabouts. So if you want to, you can draw another line in just to give yourself more of a picture. Another trend line. Draw it back if you like. Draw it back. Okay. Look at that. Okay. Yeah, you can pull it out a bit if you want. It's no problem. Right. That's kind of your distance. That's kind of where your distance is between the two lines. That's kind of at its max on the distance. So if you trade into this long out of this demand level, very short term, very careful, because you're trading against a very big trend and it hasn't changed structure. It only changes structure if it breaks through that. If it breaks through that, then you're getting a change in structure, which is pretty good. And then you're going to hit up against that resistance. And then if it breaks through that, you're going all the way to the top. US dollar, Japanese yen. It likes the 130s as well as the 150s. So don't get too caught up in the hype. Yeah, I could go back up. Will it? Difficult to say. What I would do, just trade what you see. Okay, just remember, if you trade long, you're going against the trend. If you trade short, you're going with the trend. If it goes into this level, you might take some money and go up. We're not going to go far, though. We're going to go really short and then come down. They'll probably come back to retest that and then come down because it is in a bearish trend. For it to get out of that bearish trend, it does need to break through that resistance. So that's a quick look at the US dollar, Japanese yen. So if you are going long, caution is advised on that trade. Very cautious. You want to check with a fib as well? We can do that as well, Shane. Just check with a fib. Let's see what we got here on the fib. You see, on the short term, let's do the short term one first. So if I was going to do the short term one first, it's coming down into 38. It would have to come down, probably down to the 140, 150 to be in that level that you want to buy at. So the 38 is where the money is, 38 to 50. So yeah, if you're looking on the short term, not bad. It's okay. But on the long term, let's have a look at it from the top down, shall we? On a fib. And from the top down, I'm going to take it all the way from the top down. It's got a nice way to go. It's come off the zero. Come off the zero. Going to the upside. Could go all the way up to 147 on a recovery back up into the golden zone. You got that as well. So yeah, on the fib, it could be a buy as well. Just remember, caution, it is against the trend. It is obviously against the trend, all right? So while you are looking at that, it's a counter trade. What I would do, I mean, especially with the fib showing that, I would just wait for it to break through this level. If it breaks through that level, brilliant long trade. Let's go for it, okay? So, you know, you could actually take the price alert and put it, I suppose you would be so kind as to sort of price alert, I guess it would be somewhere around there. Let's just see. Okay. Price alert. So I put a price alert in there, 143.18. I think if it gets through there, then we're starting to look like a good long trade. Okay. That's what I'm looking at. So the fib is also good. It also looks like a good trade. And then on the daily, US dollar, Japanese yen, daily. Yep, we can look on the daily as well. There's your daily. Okay. On the daily, I can see the level is up here. The level is somewhere here where this was supported, now resistance is. So if I was to take a fib and draw it in there, I'm betting that it's going to come out in that area. And as sure as nuts are eaten by whatever, then this is this is the golden zone. Exactly there. I could see it from far. That's the level. Okay, so if you were going long on the daily, we're expecting it to get back up into this level here, which is at 150. Clear level. And 150 is a round number, and it's a level that people would look for. You see, so on the daily, you kind of got the perfect scenario with a situation of, if you see here, there's the bearish run, okay, down here. When you could have the whole bearish run if you wanted to, but on the daily, you've got this bearish run running down here. And as I said on the 4 hour, if that breaks up to the upside and breaks through that line, breaks through that resistance, and goes the other way and counter trades, then you could get a trade all the way up here. 147 and then 150. There's your golden zone at 150. Good trade, but wait for the green to go through that resistance line. Patience, sit in your hands, wait for it. If you get the trade, it's good. That's why we've got the price alert put in there now, and we can see if that one's going to give us a trade or not. So US dollar, Japanese yen, wait for it to tell us that it's a trade, and then we can take it. Okay, looks good. Gold for a buy, most certainly. Gold, I was talking about it earlier. Gold for a buy, looks like a buy, but my main concern for gold is it has broken through this structure. That said, we could take that and move it down to there, right? So that looks a little bit more comfortable. And then it's in this area of money, which could push it to the upside. So it's got a red candle at the moment. Maybe if it gives us a bit of a green, then we can go for the long. You know, the trouble with gold is it normally gives that green candle when I'm sleeping. I don't know why it does that these days. I wake up in the morning and it's made that run. I'm like, ugh. It seems to be running with New Zealand and Australia, guys. It's not running with my time zone. But because I would like to see a green candle before I buy gold again. And it's not giving me one. And it'll probably do that when I'm not looking again. Because there's two options here. It can either go long from here or it can break through and come down to the downside. But it's not a bad place to buy if you're interested in buying. I just like to see a bit of a green there before we jump into that green buy. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I just need to open Discord. Boom, 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 boom. Where is Discord on here? I think that's it. That funny round thing with a... Yeah, that's it. Let me just open Discord, and then I'll have a look at your picks quickly and see if we can see what's going on there. Maybe we can all look at them. That will be interesting. See if I can get it open here on the computer. That will be interesting. We'll have a look at your picks. Okay. See what you got. Now we're going to show you Shane's picks. Perfect. And we'll have a look at our thoughts. Oh, you sent an email. Okay, that's even better. Right. I don't know what happens to Discord now. Okay, let me have a look at the email. Oh, no, it's fine. I'll have a look on the Discord. I'm not seeing it on the email. I don't know why. Oh, there you go. There's the email. Okay, US dollar, Japanese yen. Let me open that. Let's see what we got. Okay, so you've got your, yeah, I see your level there. 142, and you are on the day chart. And I'll just see here, US dollar, Japanese yen, and you are on the day chart. Day chart. Of course, Discord just opened, didn't it? Of course it did. Always great. See, I don't really open Discord that much because it always opens in front of everything else. Irritates the hell out of me. I'm just going to minus that for now. Okay. All right. Let's just have a quick look here. Pretty much, if you look at this, I see that you've put your level sort of around here. You see, there is the level that you've got here. You can see I've got this level here drawn in with a major support. Pretty similar. There's the green candle that you're showing there, Shane, that one there, okay? And there's the red candle that you're showing on your chart somewhere there. So it's pretty similar, pretty much the same. There's the dip in your chart that you see on your chart, and it coming around, basically, that coming up and coming down. It's the same chart, totally the same chart. 142.36. It's just got a different price for some odd reason. No, it's the same, 142.40. Yeah, it's the same. The price is the same. So it's coming down into that area. It's coming down into this level. And it's coming down onto that support, which is, let me make it nice and big. Okay. See, it's coming down onto that. That purple line there is actually a support line. That's coming down onto that. It's going to hit that. Now, the possibility is that it bounces off of that. And then what you haven't drawn in is this trend resistance and that trend support. So if you see this trend resistance, that's your red candle going down. You've got that same red candle going down on your chart. And if you see, if it breaks to the upside and it breaks through that line, then it's going to the upside, and then you can take the long trade. At the moment, it's still showing a short candle, and it's halfway down the other candle, which is generally a good sign that it could go long. But just, I would wait just for it to go up and go through that level, and then you can take the trade. Your chart is pretty much the same as this one. The only thing is you've drawn the level in on this line here, on this support here, which is perfect. Nothing wrong with that at all. I've drawn that in as well, and just I haven't drawn it in as a rectangle. I just put that, particularly that level in. It's pretty much the same as your level. Okay, that's it. That's the level right there. Okay, so perfect. Let me see if I can actually really get it to give me a fill on that, so that you can. It's not allowing it. Okay. Well, not to worry. I'll redraw that sometime. But that's a support level in there that you can actually see. So yeah, there you go. Same as yours, perfectly the same as yours. Wait for it to break through there, and then you've got your trade. Okay. Nothing wrong. Totally with you. Let's take that down. Perfect. Okay, I'll go back to there. Okay. Oh, shame. Right. Yeah, okay, so exactly that, Shane. This is a major, major support level. It keeps hitting that and going up. So you're perfectly right. It is hitting that level and effectively going up. Sorry, I just need to change something on the other screen. Perfect, that's good. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, now, all right, so if you want to trade it now, you can, but it's kind of like a bit of the old patience thing. You know, you just got to wait a little bit. Give it a little bit of patience. There's a huge, this is the line you've got in, the support you've got in. There's a huge down. There's a lot of candles that have moved down into this level. Every time it gets to this level, it bounces up. But you can see that it actually bounced into that level previously. So you could go quite far down before it bounces up. I mean, it could go all the way to 140, 139 before it bounces up. So wait for it to confirm. I think it will bounce up from here and go through there, but I think it's not confirmed. So let's just wait for that to go, and then you can grab that trade, man. Grab that trade. Okay, so on the Discord, I just want to see what we've got on the Discord, if anything from anyone. Let's see what we got. I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to go into my trading and okay, then announcements, trading, general, we've got wave to say hi, trading. So basically, okay, can actually just go over here. See what I got. See if I can find that particular thing, and I'm going to share that for you. Okay, so what we've got here on the Discord, guys, this is Shane's pick. Pretty much the same, picture as we've got, where it's coming through here. There's the red candle. I hope you guys can see this. There's the red candle going down, and it's going to bounce off of that and go up. I'm just saying, I just wait for that. Draw that trend in, and let's over here. Sorry, draw that trend in down here, very sharp. Then it just break through that, and then take the trade from there, and that's where you want to be. Okay, absolutely fantastic. There you go. Shane did not mind me sharing his message on Discord there. There you go. Perfect. Good. There we have it. Yeah, it is quiet on the Discord. I think because everyone is a little bit scared of the Discord because the guy that tried to impersonate me, even myself, I was actually going to post trades on there, but now, you know, I got this guy who's impersonating me, and it's a bit tricky, you know. But yeah, if you guys want to get on there and start talking to each other, and we can boot the guys off that are giving us problems, then that'll be fantastic. As I always say on the Discord, if someone is trying to say they're me and they're trying to sell something to you, I mean, they copy my picture to the T, guys. They copy my logos, everything to the T on the Discord, and they try and sell you something. I won't try and sell you anything on Discord, all right? That's not going to happen. So if somebody says to you, hey, do you want to buy this course or package or whatever, just say no, and maybe tell me or report the guy or something. It's probably someone trying to impersonate me again. If we can get around that, then we can use Discord quite freely together. I was going to go to Telegram, but it's just as bad, I believe. It's just the same. I was thinking of starting a WhatsApp thing, but I was thinking of putting that on members because it will drive me insane, the WhatsApp. So I just thought, well, maybe I'll do a WhatsApp thing for members only on a certain level or whatever the case. I'll have a look at that. But on the Discord, like I say, as long as we can be careful around that, don't get caught out by the scammers, then we'll be okay. Be okay. Thank you for the nice compliment there, OBZ. QBZ. It's quiet on the Discord. US market is open, markets move. It would be good to build a community. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that's what I was hoping to do with the Discord. I was hoping that we'll build a community, but I wasn't realizing how many scammers there are there. Oh, man, there are so many. And it just drives me insane. I'm just so scared that one of you are going to get caught out with these guys. I know I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence, but, even the best get caught. So that's my big worry on the Discord. I was trying to find another way around it, but it's so difficult. That's crazy. YouTube was talking about the posting being interactive, and they're experimenting with that at the moment, but they're only giving that to the really big creators at the moment to experiment with. That could be something we could work with, where we can all, like if you've got a trade, you can post it there and that sort of thing. And that would be great because that would be interactive and that would be quite nice. At the moment, they're still struggling with it because it kind of affects the creators' channels when people post stuff and nobody looks at it, and they're still looking at the whole scenario. But some of the bigger YouTubers are testing it out. We're not allowed to, but the bigger guys have got it, and maybe we'll have that soon as well. And that actually might be better than Discord because it's on YouTube itself. Yeah. I did block Gorisha, and I did also report him, and he found his way back onto the Discord as well somehow. I don't know. They don't seem to cover it. They don't seem to protect it very well. But guys, all I can say to you is if you get something like that, and I tried to block him, I tried to report it, but I mean, the guy keeps on and on and on and on and begging, and it's irritating, and it doesn't stop, and like 10 messages in 5 seconds. The thing is, all you can do from your side is actually block him as well, and it's the only thing you can do. That's insane. Are you cursed, Shane? Oh, no. Can you imagine how many times I get cursed? Yeah, no, totally. I'm a very straightforward guy. You guys would have noticed that already. I'm not here to listen to stories and whatnot like that. And a lot of people don't like it, but that's me. I'm not interested in all that stuff. It's people try to get under my skin, and it's very difficult to get under my skin. I've been around too long. And if I want to tell you to get lost, I'll tell you to get lost, and that's it. I don't need that in my life. I'm not a desperate person, and so if someone wants to give me hell, I'll just tell them to go away. Not interested anymore. I don't get upset by rubbish. It's unreal. People try. I'm actually pretty sure that there's other YouTubers out there that try and put themselves in a disguised mode on YouTube, and then they try and give you a hard time as well. It doesn't bother me in the least. If you want to hide behind the keyboard, if you want to hide behind these guys don't even put their pictures out. They don't put their name out. They're always hidden. They don't exist. And then they want to give you a hard time. Good luck to them. Off they go. They're not brave enough to come and stand in front of my face and say it. Then don't say it. I'll listen to you if you're brave enough to come and stand in front of me and tell me, Rob, you're up, then I'll listen to you because you're brave enough to come and tell me. But if you're going to sit behind your keyboard and tell me that, then you can go to hell. That's simple. That's insane, really. Yeah, we could. That's something we can look at, Shane. Maybe Zoom for members. Maybe we can do some kind of thing like that. I've got to fit it into a schedule though, into some kind of Zoom meeting. That said, we're close to 100 members, so yeah, will be interesting. I don't know how much Zoom can handle, but we'll have a look. That might be an option as well. Might be an option, something we can do. Maybe we can record a Zoom. Yeah, do something like that instead of like with the live show. Maybe we can record a Zoom or something. We'll see what we can do. See how we can figure something out there. I have to look at all these things very carefully and make sure that they fit into time and they fit into the scenarios and whatever. But it would be fun. Yeah, that would be something. I used to do that on WhatsApp before. We used to have live chats with my friends, 3 or 4 or 5 friends, but it wasn't 100 people. It was 3 or 4 or 5 friends, so different scenario. I consider I got a question here. Do you consider yourself a day trader or a scalper? I'm definitely not a scalper. Not a scalper in the slightest. I'm a position trader, what most of you call a swing trader. A swing trader in my day was someone who would take a long trade and when it gets to the top, take the short trade swing. That's what a swing trader was in my day. These days, you guys call swing traders what a position trader is. A position trader is we take a position in the market and we stand by that position. So here, for example, Brent, what we do is we take this position, we put a stop loss in, it's a strategy, and we put our take profit in on the strategy. That's a position. I leave the position, I walk away, the position works. Okay, that's position trading. And those positions are normally taken on a 4-hour daily chart, 1-hour chart, whatever the case. Now, scalping is more on a 5-minute basis, 1-minute basis, where you don't have a proper strategy. Because if you've got a strategy, that's not scalping. Strategy is you positioning it, even if it's on 5 minutes. If you're scalping, what you're doing is you jumping into a trade, quickly taking a small amount of money and jumping out. That's scalping. Now, the trouble with scalping is, I've tried it many times, is you jump in, you win 8 trades, and like I said, then the 9th trade loses, and it takes all the money from the last 8 trades that you won. That's scalping. So if you position it on, let's say you do it on a 5-minute chart, and you position it and you put a stop loss in place, you put a take profit in place, it either takes the loss or it takes the win. That's a strategy. That's not so much scalping. That's just you're taking the trade, instead of having 1,000 pips, like I said earlier, on a 4-hour chart, you got 10 pips on a 5-minute chart. You still got a strategy. You're still playing according to that strategy, and the strategy is what makes you the money at the end of the day. Just remember the squiggly lines, the charts, that sort of thing is only a system. That's a high probability trade on a 50-50 game. So you take a high probability trade. You're hoping to get the edge. The sad news that I've got for all of you is you will lose more trades than you win. That's a fact. I don't care what anyone else says. I don't care how they say it. If you've got a position, you will lose more trades than you win, because that's just trading. And even if you're a scalper, it's actually a worse position, because you'll think you're winning because you won 8 out of 9 trades, but the trouble is the 9th trade dragged you back down to start. So it's more difficult to calculate on a scalping, or if you're trading without a plan, this is where you're going to end up. So the scenario is, if you've got a proper trading strategy and you're trading and you know what your wins and your losses really are, and you're a profitable trader, you'll find that you lose more than you win. But the basis of the whole game is to try and make more on the wins and lose less on the losses. So that way, if you only win 3 out of 10 trades, you might actually still be in a profit because you've made more money on the wins. Trouble is, you can't always make more money on the wins, and sometimes the trailing stops take you out, or whatever the case. So, trading is a complicated thing. And I always try and tell people, don't expect to just win every trade. That's not how it works. Okay. Dum 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 dum. Must I say the word? Yeah, but thanks for mentioning it. Discord is free, guys. It's not going to cost you anything. just look out for the scammers, all right? US dollar CAD is a possible long, Eugene. You're quite right. That's quite a good trade, actually. US dollar CAD looks like a decent long trade. Yeah, Sophia, it does kind of feel like that after a few losses. It's frustrating. I have found that, as you say, with a ninth trade takes your profit, you always run the same risk reward target and area. Effectively, what we do with our strategy is we keep the risks the same on every single trade. If you keep the risk the same on every single trade, within a few bucks here and there, okay, let's be honest, we risk 1% per trade, 1% for every trade. So if it's $25,000 account, then it's $250 per trade, no matter what. So it'd be 260, 230, 240, 270, somewhere in that region. And then what you're trying to do is make $300 or $400 on the profits if you can. If you can't, one-to-one, you kind of do what you can. But keep the risk the same on every single trade, then you know how much you're losing. How do you work out the risk? You look where you want the stop loss first, the invalidation area, you check that first. And then you work out how many lots you can buy back up to the cost to make up that area of $250. And then you know what your loss is. Every trade the same, no matter how comfortable you are. If you prefer trading gold over the Aussie dollar, US dollar, doesn't mean you trade more on gold, because if you do that, you will lose on the one that you played more on. So take the same risk on every single trade, and then you will find the light at the end of the tunnel. Supply and demand works well for me, and I found swing is the way to go. I'm short on US dollar CAD. Shane always do the opposite. Okay, US dollar Canadian dollar is a trade that I was looking at. Let me just see, what did I call US trade of the day? US dollar Canadian dollar. I actually called it as a sell. I did call it as a sell. Why did I call it as a sell? Let's go and have a look, shall we? US dollar Canadian dollar called as a sell. Geez, how many trades have we got on here? US dollar Japanese yen, we were looking for a buy. Okay, US dollar Canadian dollar we called as a sell. And have a look. It's actually looking more like a buy now, but not yet. Okay, so let me just see here. I just want to take this line out of here and move it around a little bit, because things have changed. Structure's changed. It's actually changed a little bit here. Tell you what. Sometimes it's just structure has changed a little bit here, so it's still a short at the moment. It's not long yet, but it is slowly but surely heading towards the long side. Let's just take it to the day chart and just see what it looks like there. Similar scenario. So what I would say is it's coming out of the support, bouncing out of the support. If it bounces out of the support, then it's probably going to go to the long side. Just be careful of this heavy level here. The 139.201 could be a strong resistance level. If it breaks through that to the upside, it's going long. If it breaks above this line, it's probably going long. It probably looks good. But if it stays below this and it starts to fall back down again, we're going short again. It looked like a sell earlier today. That's obviously changed its tune now. Be careful of this. This is a pincer top. Big pincer top there. That little pincer top is not good news. That could also be a sell signal. But yeah, in general, it's been bearish. It's been in a bearish run, but it has hit a major support, and it does look like it wants to break out of the major support and go through that level there. But I would much rather look at the Japanese yen trade. That actually looks more interesting. there's your green candle, Shane. And I'm just waiting for it to break through that level there. That looks more interesting, to be perfectly fair. And of course, the US 500 is trying to go up again as well. Hoping Brent stays to the upside. US CHF JPY trade's not going well. Australian dollar, US dollar, that needs to come down. Okay. Great British Pound, Japanese Yen. Great British Pound, Japanese Yen, been on the move. In there. What did I do now? There you go. Sometimes you just press the wrong buttons. So what do you say, Sophia? Great British Pound, Japanese Yen. Great British Pound, Japanese Yen. There we go. Great British Pound, Japanese Yen. On the move. Looks like it wants to head on up. Looks like a reasonably good long trade as well. Okay. Still like this one. Still like that trade. I think that's going to be the trade at the end of the day. I really do. Okay, guys, gotta go. My dog's got a vet appointment, little beagle. Yeah. Become a member, support a beagle. Heard that one before. Right, okay. Good. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. It's been great. I'm going to head on my way now, take my dog to the vet, and you shorten the Great British Pound, Japanese Yen. It's looking a bit long there, Shane, so do be careful on that one. It does look a little bit long, but that's okay. You know, that's the way the world goes. This has been a nice session, bit of fun, been decent. There you go, guys. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for being here. I'm going to head on my way now. Is it Thursday today? So we're only going to have another live session on Tuesday. Shane, I will look into those Zoom things and see if that's a possibility. I'm not sure how many people can be on that call, and if we'll be able to record it live. I'll just have to look at the technicalities of that. If that works out, we can start looking along those lines. But for the time being, guys, the Discord's there. It's free. Join it. Enjoy it. Use it. Don't use it. It's fine. I'll try and start posting trades there. But I think that's all I'm going to do with Discord is just post the odd trade, post the odd chart. Anything else comes up there, it's not me. And if you get these odd people that start bugging you, just block them and tell them to go away. Guys, thanks for watching. Have a great trading day further. For those of you who are just starting your day out, have a wonderful trading day. For those of you who are ending your day, almost like myself, rest easy. Don't forget, keep your feet on the ground and reach for the sky. Till next time, guys.